In this video, we're going to look at proportional systems. The electoral formula is the calculation that needs to happen to take voter preferences and to turn them into some kind of government. There are different ways of doing that. There are plurality systems, such as single-member plurality, or first past the post, and there are proportional systems, such as proportional representation. In this video, we're going to introduce the idea of proportional representation. How does a proportional electoral system work? Well, we will have a multi-member district. So in this case, let's say our country has 7 seats to be elected in their legislature. Voting day happens, and there will be a number of different parties competing in this election. And this will be national. It's a multi-member district. There's going to be 7 people representing us in Parliament. Voters will select their favorite party. They will choose the party they want to represent them, and all of those votes will be tallied across the country. We call this the popular vote. What is the total number of support, or total level of support for each party? Now, the first thing that happens when it's time to count the votes is determine whether thresholds are met. Some PR systems have a minimum level of support you need to get to win a seat in the legislature. So in this case, the Purple Party probably doesn't have enough, so they would get removed from the equation. So then we would look at the remaining parties. How do we determine who gets these seats in the legislature? It looks like the Blue Party has clearly won. In a PR system, what we do is take the percentage of the votes and make sure that that's roughly how many seats that party wins in the legislature. So the thinking is if you get about 50% of the votes, your party should get about 50% of the seats in the legislature. Now that's a bit of a simplistic way of looking at it, but that is a helpful way to think about it. So we take the popular vote, we determine how that translates into seats. And so in this case, the Blue Party got about 40%. That's going to work out to around 3 seats. But who fills those seats? How do we know the candidates? How do we know the candidates that won and will serve in the legislature? Well, in a PR system, prior to the election, each party will publish a party list. And these are in a specific type of PR system called a closed list system. But this is a helpful way to think about it. Each party lists the candidates that will win if they win that number of seats. So in the case of the Blue Party, they won 3 seats. So they take the top 3 people on their list. They just start at the top and they count down. The Red Party got 2 seats. So they just take the top 2 people on their list. The Orange Party and the Green Party got 1 each, so they take the first person on their list. And those are the people that go into the legislature to help form the government. Now, when we look at the legislature, we see that no party has a majority. And in order to control the legislature and form a government and choose perhaps a prime minister, you need to have 50% plus 1. You need to have a majority of the votes in the legislature. No party has one immediately after this election. The Blue Party is the biggest one, and so what it can do is start negotiating with the other parties to see if one of them will join them to provide enough votes to control the legislature. That would be a coalition government. Now, it's also possible the Red Party could get together with the Orange and the Green Party and have 4 of the 7 seats. Either one. The point is that when no party has a majority, the parties need to work together to form a partnership, and we call those coalition governments. They are very common in proportional systems. So just to recap, in a PR system, you're not voting for a specific candidate, you're voting for a party. And the seats in that legislature will be awarded based on how that party does. The percentage of the votes they got, in terms of the popular vote, will be roughly equal to the percentage of the seats they win in the legislature. Those winning candidates are drawn from party lists, and typically we see these systems producing coalition governments.